Hello everyone, my name is Jake Laco, and for the Black Mirror mini lecture assignment that we were assigned, I'll be talking about the episode 15 Million Merits. Specifically, I'll be going into the concepts of critical theory and biopower for this episode. Personally, I really like this episode. I thought it was one of the most striking ones with a great amount of ideas to talk about and analyze, and it was especially emotionally captivating. But anyway, let's jump straight into it. So, firstly, I think I should explain the concepts that we're talking about in this presentation. So, critical theory is an idea that was developed by the Frankfurt School. Specifically, it was Max Horkheimer that was a big part in establishing this idea. But what is critical theory? Critical theory is a framework used to analyze society, culture, and power. It focuses on the social systems, especially mass media, and it shows how that can manipulate and act towards inequality in society. For example, we see mass media often shaping beliefs, values, and behaviors, and these shaped beliefs and behaviors tend to keep people passive in critical theory. This passiveness allows dominant ideas and dominant institutions to keep control over society. A big point of critical theory is that technology is not neutral. Technology can be used to enforce social norms, shape human behavior, and even change people's lives. The whole point of critical theory, the whole point of the theory being created by Horkheimer, was to reveal the hidden forms of control that we experience on a day to day and to inspire people to challenge these social structures. So, moving on to our next idea, biopower. So, along with critical theory, biopower is another concept that was developed by Michel Foucault, and it describes how modern institutions and organizations in power regulate and control people's lives. The way they control people's lives is not normal. It's not through physical force or laws or anything set out in paper. Rather, they control people's lives through everyday practices and norms and surveillance. People can be controlled by shaping health standards and habits, thus creating power over their life. A reason why biopower works all the time is because of the surveillance and discipline that comes out with it. So if we have, say, a creator posting a video on TikTok and the comments are talking about certain norms that the creator didn't follow, this is an example of biopower kind of affecting people's lives because those commenters believe in those norms and are affecting other people into changing themselves to fit those norms. Um, so yeah, surveillance and discipline kind of works to create power over people's lives. We see monitoring and social norms guiding how people act, with sometimes people even disciplining themselves to fit a better image that society creates. So, say if someone says that being skinny is just better for fashion, some people may discipline themselves in their eating habits to fit the skinny standard that fashion has created. Now, biopower isn't really direct power that controls someone. Think of it more as like a subtle influence to control what people think and do, to control people's lives. So, moving on, now that we're done with the actual uh, things that we're talking about, the concepts I always want to talk about, let's talk about the context of the episode. So, in the episode, 50 Million Merits displays a dystopian society where people spend their lives peddling bikes to earn merits, or their points system. With these points, you can purchase food and do daily tasks. One thing that is very apparent is that screens surround the people in this episode. The screens surround them so that the people are always watching the screens, and so that the screens are always watching the people. The screens actually survey the people and make sure order is maintained. And when I say order, I don't mean necessarily like fighting doesn't break out. I mean that the people keep using the strings, keep watching the strings to make sure that the strings are not ignored by the people. What's on the screens are usually like entertainment. They primarily act as like distractions of the life they live, and the screens also act as the only expression of the people's creativity. Everyone in the society are kind of treated and act the same, with some exceptions being like the judges, TV stars, the janitors, which are the people in yellow in this picture. But otherwise, everyone just wears the same gray outfit, does the same boring thing. They just bike and try to survive. They live. This lack of expressive freedom is circumvented by the fact that you can accessorize your avatar, I guess. And the only other time that creativity and individuality is actually allowed in society is during this episode's version of America's Got Talent, which is called Hot Shot. This is basically where people show off their talents and supposedly can escape the cycle of just biking every day. So with this, people are just controlled by technology, strings all around them. Moving on, I'd like to talk about our first scene, which is the Bing resume viewing scene. In this first key scene, Bing is forced to watch an advertisement for an adult content site featuring Abby, who is a person that Bing helps reach the hotshot stage because Bing believes she has talent. Bing is disgusted by this commercial and just wants to not watch it because Bing believed that Abby had a real talent for singing, but is now forced to work in the adult content industry. When Bing tries to look away, the screen sees this and punishes him until Bing obliges to the screen and continues to watch. So, using the biopower and critical theory view, we can see that in the scene, Bing is unable to rebel against the dominant institution, and how these strings kind of act as pawns to show not only the entertainment that is provided, but also the idea that certain behaviors are enforced, and that a person's true self is silenced. You can see that Abby wasn't able to continue her true self, her passion of singing, but instead had to conform to the adult content entertainment because it was what she needed to do to succeed. She needed to go on the show to change her values in order to change her life, actually, in order to succeed, to have a better place in society. So for our next scene, we'll be talking about Bing's speech. So in summary, Bing manages to get on the hotshot stage and delivers a powerful message whilst holding a shard of glass to his neck as a threat. In this message, Bing criticizes the exploitation and the emptiness of the system, and he displays genuine anger and defiance in this message. To his surprise, and to my surprise actually, the judges love this. They manipulate the situation and manage to offer him a job during a commercial for one of the judges. They turn his rebellion into content. In this scene, we can see how critical theory ideas. We can see critical theory ideas as his resistance is just neutralized and commodified, turning his critique into entertainment. Bing is manipulated into continuing the system he much so despises. Control is maintained here, despite the effort to avert it. It's actually the biggest twist in this episode. And with the final scene, which is the final scene of the episode, with Bing seemingly free. So after the Bing speech, we see that he now lives in an apartment as a commercial host, apparently free. You know, it's a sleek apartment, it's pretty big, it's way better than what he used to live in. However, we see him working as a show host, using his rebellious ideas as content. He still seems commodified, surveilled, and controlled, despite this bigger apartment and despite the rebellion we just saw. From a biopower perspective, his life continues to be regulated through performance. his whole identity and person is that he's the guy on TV that rebelled. When people see him on TV, his whole identity to create content is that he's the guy that rebelled. He has the knife, he has the glass of shard, the shard of glass with him and everything. He uses that as a prop. So he delivers his messages through the system he hates so much, and that's just the irony of it. Critical theory here emphasizes that even though he rebelled, something that seems so radical, rebelling, and that no one had done before, at least from what we know, his defiance, his rebellion was mitigated and absorbed by the system to create content. There's no rebellion that works here, and that is just what critical theory talks about. How the system just maintains control, but more subtly and appealing than just getting rid of Bing. They absorb him. So, some final thoughts about this is that 15 Million Merits provides a vivid example of how technology, entertainment, and surveillance can regulate both behavior and identity. Critical theory reminds us that media and culture can pacify and absorb dissent, while biopower highlights how control operates on the level of life itself. Even rebellion, creativity, and individuality can become modified, demonstrating how power functions subtly in societies dominated by strains of technology. Honestly, I was left with the question that is Bing truly free? I thought no, but I thought it'd be a good question to ask. And also, is he more or less free than he was before? With that, thank you all. I really enjoyed making this. And yeah, thank you.